Are you ready? Here we go. T-Real.
Shining bright, going hard, living big, like a star. Ain't trying to get it, already got it. And there ain't nothing no one can do about it. We living that best life. We living that best life. We living that best life.
Oh yeah.
We living. Everybody talking about trying to hustle hard, but don't nobody want to talk about God. Trying to get it in, we trying to win, but don't nobody seem to know where to begin. Well, I'ma tell you something, and I hope you listening. Life gets better when Jesus is your friend. You can tell him anything, he'll tell you everything. No competition, how you win it every day. Shining bright, going hard, living.
Hey, well, it is Monday, Money Matters, living life with Autumn. How are y'all living out there? How are y'all living? Listen, I'm going to be talking to y'all off the cuff today. We're going to be talking about business and bossing up. So these Mondays, they come around so fast. Jeez. So I'm trying to get it where I got it down, pat, planned, outlined, and all that. But maybe they be rolling around here. But we're going to have some good stuff. We're going to share about some organizing your business, how to form your business, whether it's proprietorship, LLC, C Corp, S Corp. We're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about overhead. So we got a lot of stuff that we're going to share. I don't know how it's all going to play out, but we're going to have some good stuff for you tonight. So those of you that are thinking about going into business or in business, maybe these are some things that I'll share with you tonight that maybe you hadn't thought about or hadn't considered. Please tag somebody, share. Now, you will be in the drawing for the $100 drawing. And we need you to go to Living Life with Autumn, because we stream on Autumn Young and then Living Life with Autumn. And then also on YouTube. I don't know what that is. Frank too will put that up there, whatever that YouTube channel is. And we stream on there as well. But we're trying to get everybody over to the new page. So to be in the drawing for the $100, we need you to share. We need you to make a comment what you thought about the show, and share from Living Life with Autumn. Yes. And then you'll be put in the drawing. The wheel will turn tomorrow sometime. You can check my page out. The wheel will turn and we'll give you the winner. Now, I thought about this before I got on. I want you guys to let me know what you think. We normally give away $100 a week. One time we paid somebody's rent. Didn't do the rent no more because they rent was like $1,400. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I was thinking like we could do weekly, or we could do next month for September. We could just do not weekly, and we could just do $400 to one person, $400. So y'all tell me what y'all think about that. But anyway, so let's see where I want to start. Get my glasses on here. So what came to my mind was in Proverbs 22, and I believe it's 29. It says, in business be men. In business be men. So, we talk about going into business and we talk about bossing up. I want to tell you my story, how I got into business. So mine was like an ultimatum. I didn't have really a choice to go into business. I had 5 children. I had 3 stair-step children, set of twins and a stair-step baby. And so it was always something going on the job. You know what I'm saying? I had a teenager that I had to run up to the school and deal with issues, or the kids were sick and couldn't go to daycare, all this other kind of stuff. And so I was about to get fired. So I had to find a source of income where I had flexibility to be with my children, but yet create an income that could float my boat, if you want to say it like that. That whatever my living status quo was, it had to be able to maintain that. And so anyway, somebody said, hey, a lady, Joyce was her name, Joyce Shiplet. Yeah, almost 40-something years ago. She worked for Century 21, and she had sold us our home. And she said, Autumn, you would really be really good at real estate. Okay. And that's how most of us start out. You know, you're really good at something, you have a passion about something, you enjoy something, and so hey, why not, right? Well, nobody tells you um, what goes along with it. Yeah, I'm good at it, but I've said this throughout my journey in business. I said, I think the city, when they give you these occupancy permits or certificates to be able to do business, they ought to make you have to take a business course. You need to at least know about taxes. You need to know about how to formulate your business properly. You need to know about taxes, some briefing on accounting, overhead, maintenance, all this kind of stuff. So anyway, but they don't. And so we learn it as we go. And there, we learn from the hard knocks of life and living. That's why I do Living Life with Autumn, because I share my failures and my disappointments and my successes, and just try to share something that will help you not have to, get in those ruts. But anyway, before I go further about my journey starting out in business and the things that I had to learn the hard way, when I felt the drop in my spirit about in business be men, there's women in business too. Matter of fact, the first I looked it up, I said, well, why just men? You know what I'm saying? God always refers to us biblically as mankind. And, back in the day, men kind of rule the world. Men still kind of do, but it's nothing without a woman or a girl. But Lydia was the first woman in the Bible that was the first businesswoman, and Lydia. And it says that she was a businesswoman. She was very influential, and she was an evangelist. Yeah. So there are men, there are women that were in the Bible that were business women. Matter of fact, the virtuous woman. If you read the virtuous woman, everybody refers to her. Proverbs 31 woman. She was a businesswoman. Read it. She was a good businesswoman too. And so anyway, but when we think about that, I always thought as I was going through the corporate world, how men were always the one that were elevated, and I had to have a little talk with Jesus about that. I had met the Lord by then, and wanted to grow and elevate, and I said, why is it always men, typically that you see? And it's because men are not emotional. We as women, we act on our emotions. We make decisions on our emotions. Men are pretty just black and white. It is what it is. And so that's where we have to learn, is not to allow our emotions to dictate how we maneuver through life, And then when I got into real estate, I sold a lot of property to investors. And so I'm like, I'm making $300 on a $30,000 cash purchase, let's say. And they're making 50 on a flip. So I got into that field of investing. And because that's how I am, I glean from other people. That's what I do. I watch you. I see how you do what you do, and I'm trying to figure it out too. And so, but that was mainly a man's world, and not only a man's world, but a Caucasian world. And so, it's pretty tough to fit in some positions, in some arenas, but by the grace of God, plenty of women have made the way for us to excel in business. And so, but what I'm saying about being, it's not just much, I'm not talking about the generic, what do you call it? Genes, man or woman. I'm talking about in business, though, we should be people of integrity. We should be honest. We should do honest business. We should be, also, when I was doing my study about that, one of the things that it was saying about in business being men is timely and punctual. A lot of times I talked about this the other one of the other lives. We're not timely. We don't respect each other's time. We're not punctual. We don't operate in integrity. If I tell you I'm going to be there at 11, then 11 is when I need to be there. If I tell you I'm going to do this, that's what I need to do. Our word needs to be our bond. We need to do good business. We just need to do good business with each other. You know, we need to be fair and we need to be honest with each other, you know? So anyway, moving on down, let's talk about when I got into it and I didn't know about how to organize a business. Let's talk about when we first go into business. Of course, you know, we get our EIN number and we go down, we register our name, make sure nobody else have the name, and that's just citywide. So when you go and you get your EIN and you form your LLC or your incorporation, that's when you know that nobody else in the country has your name and can operate your name. And so, you know, you can operate as a sole proprietor, an LLC, a C Corp, a S Corp, or a nonprofit. Now, you know, most of us, when I first started out, all I knew was sole proprietorship, okay? And sole proprietorship, then of course you file your 1040 and you file a Schedule C. Now, most people write everything off. I don't know if you have a tax person or whatever, you do it yourself. You know, they do have free tax USA. If you have just basic taxes, you can file your taxes for free. And you can get an automatic deposit, you know, in your bank, just like tax people do. But there are tax laws. I don't discourage tax professionals at all, you know, if you can afford them. But by being a sole proprietor and writing everything off, now what happens is that when you need to expand your business, or you need to go get a brick and mortar, or you want to get a loan, or you just want to be identified as a legitimate, successful business, you can't be bottom line is zero. You can't be done made 50,000 and wrote off 50,000. Your business is basically not making any money. And when the bank looks at you, it's not making any money. You go to rent a property or buy a property or whatever, they want to see your tax returns. And on your tax returns, if it shows you're writing everything off, then it's saying that your business is not making any money. So there you have it. And then there's the part about taxes. So now everybody does that because they don't want to pay taxes. So that's why it's important to have a tax professional, a tax consultant, to find out when to do what and how to do what. You know what I'm saying? Financially, but be honest. You know, there again, here we go. It's something the Holy Spirit had to teach me too. So anyway, everything is kingdom with me. Everything is kingdom. So if we're not being honest and reporting our taxes and properly filing our taxes, what is that? That's deception, trade practice. That's fraud. You know, we're defrauding the government. Even though I got a little issue going on with the IRS right now because I got some grant money. You know, here last couple of years ago, we got grant money through the child care business that I had. And nobody told me you had to pay taxes on this money, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing I want to say to you is that it says that you need to, out of every 1,000 you make, you need to put 300 aside. So anyway, they say 30%. If you're self-employed, if you're a business owner, you need to put 30% aside, you know, of your actual money that you make. Now, if you made $50,000 and you actually cost you $40,000 to run your business, then you only have to pay tax on that 10 because that's supposedly what went in your pocket. Okay. And so, but they say 30% of that, now as a self-employed person, you have to put aside taxes. So anyway, I got this little thing. They ain't nothing to be scared about. They're really cool people if you be upfront and honest and don't try to look like you're trying to be deceptive or defraud them or whatever. You know, honest mistake. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't know. You know, man, I don't spend that money, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so anyway, when the people gave you the grant money, they should have told you, you got to pay taxes on that money. You know what I mean? So, you know, but there again, as kingdom people, we need to make sure that we are being honest and upfront with people. You know what I'm saying? And especially in our taxes. So anyway, but there's other ways that we can get around that, like being an S corp or a C corp, or um, you know, we can talk more about that in detail, LLC. But let me tell you, the biggest thing about that is the corporation protects you. You know, by filing to be incorporated, that protects you. Because if you're a sole proprietor and somebody, I don't know if you're selling food or whatever you're doing, and somebody gets sick, or you got a business and somebody gets hurt, you know, whatever the case may be, they can come after you personally, and personally everything you own. And so that's the purpose of filing a corporation. And let me tell you what I found for my tax. That's why I say these tax professionals are handy. I always wondered why they didn't allow you to commingle funds. And so commingling funds is when you have a business and you take the business account and you pay all of your personal expenses out of that business account. Well, there's two things going on here. One is that the IRS is saying that you're trying to write this off over here as a business expense when we want to be able to tax you because you took it as your personal expense and your personal income. And one thing that I found out from my tax professional is this: if you ever get audited and they see in your business tax, in your business banking account, that you used it for personal use, that's what they call commingled funds. Now you're no longer protected by the corporation because you've nullified it by using your business account for your personal expenses. So there was something else I wanted to tell y'all about that. I think it was insurance. I don't know. No. But I was going to tell you about the commingling and the corporation, and there was something else I wanted to tell y'all about. It slipped my mind. Shucks, the taxes. But let me see. When I first got to this, count my call. Let's go to that. So, a lot of us, we talk about bossing up, going into business, and but we have to count the cost, because there's so many things that are attached. Oh, nonprofit. Thank you, Holy Ghost. That was the other thing I want to say. In how you structure your business. I used to think with a nonprofit, I said, well, I don't want to be no nonprofit. I said, because I can't make no money. I can't make no money as a nonprofit. They limit you on what you make. But I found out that that's not true. I mean, because depending on how much money you're getting, most of the time in nonprofit, so far that I've seen, I don't work in the multi-million-dollar nonprofit realms, but you get a salary. And usually you ain't getting no more than that anyway. And and they give you a cap on your salary, you can make a right. As a director of a nonprofit, you can make a nice little piece of change. You know what I'm saying? You can make a nice little piece of change. So as a nonprofit, you don't have your nice salary as a director, and you can have that with no questions asked. So nonprofit's not a bad thing. And a good rule to do is have a nonprofit and a for-profit. So, depending on whatever is advantageous to you, you run your money through whichever one, is proper. That's what I'm saying. So, when you're also self-employed, there's so many taxes that are involved. There's so many taxes that are involved. This was a crazy one that I found out. I found out the hard way again. Once I got into brick and mortar and I started running a childcare business, of course, you got employees. That's a whole nother animal we can talk about another time. But the personal property tax, and I didn't realize, I kept getting these little notices or whatever about this personal property tax or whatever. And I kept ignoring it, right? And so till one day, a constable showed up, a lady with a badge, and a constable was with her. And I'm like, what's up? I ain't had no, it's been a long time since I had anything the police was looking for me for. I think he must be looking for somebody else up in here working or something, right? So anyway, they're like, we're here to pick up your things, your computers, your debt. I said, excuse me. And they said, yeah, you haven't paid your personal property taxes. And it had been a couple, 2, 3 years. It had been some time. And it adds up and they add interest and they do all this some crazy other stuff to it. And so I said, hold up. So anyway, when you buy a computer, every year, if you buy a desk, whatever you buy in your office, or what, you have to pay personal property tax. That's why it's good to have a tax professional, because they do what they call depreciation, and they can offset this personal property tax. I'm like, and then they actually appraise what you have in your business. It's just a lot. It's crazy. And then I want to remind you too is that when you're self-employed, I know when I was young, I didn't think about this either, but now that I'm almost 66 years old, I'm still putting money into my Social Security and Medicare, because I'm constantly checking every year with Social Security when I need to draw my Social Security, if it's available, as they say, how much is my check going to be? You know what I'm saying? I mean, hopefully I don't have to live off my Social Security check. And most of us at a young age ain't even thinking about Social Security or Medicare. And but I am so happy when I turned 65 that I got free medical. You know what I'm saying? I got free medical. So that's what that Medicare does, because you bought into it or whatever. And so but your Social Security, so if you're self-employed and you're not paying your FICA taxes, which is your Social Security and your Medicare, then you don't have anything that you're building up for when you get ill. You know what I'm saying? And so these are things that you got to think about. Insurance, there's so many, just the cost. All I'm saying is if we're going to boss up, we got to count the costs. And these are things that, each business, each person, each entity is different. But they're there. And at least we got to know what those costs are, because they just don't magically, and there's so many of them that I didn't know. I don't know. Maybe you know. Maybe you took the business course. Maybe you know. Maybe you know about those. I don't know. But I just want us to be able to count costs, and there are some hidden things like taxes and stuff like that. Like I say that we need to taxes, interest rates, that just get us. So when we talk about, this is another thing I want to say. We talk about being the lender, but not the borrower. But there's still, if we're the lender, somebody's borrowing. So this is what I want to say. If we're bossing up, we still need employees. You know what I'm saying? So everybody can't be the lender. Everybody's not going to be the borrower, and everybody can't be the boss. And everybody's not going to be the employee. So I'm just saying we got to count the cost and really just consider what's the best advantage to us, and there's nothing wrong with having several streams of income. There's nothing wrong with having different streams of income if you can juggle it. Because like I said before, everything takes time, energy, and money. So there's nothing wrong with having different streams of income. And I'm gonna close with this. With the different streams of income, because I have several of them. Everybody say, honey, what else do you do? What else do you do? What else do you do? And so one thing I had to learn early in business when I started having, this was before different streams of income was mandatory. It's no longer optional to have different streams of income now, because it seems like just one, at least for me. There's probably somebody out there that's making a killing on what they're doing, and that's all they got to do. I'm just telling you from my perspective, and not to fall into this pit that I did was, you got this business over here that's doing well. It's pumping like an oil well, right? But then you got this other one over here that's struggling, And so what I would do is I would take good money and put it in a bad well. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be real juggling that boat, because what happens is they both drown. Because if it keeps sucking from this well, that well's going to eventually go dry. And so I had to learn real early in the game how they say, cut your costs, cut your losses. Know when to cut your losses and shut it down. Maybe you got to regroup, maybe you got to revamp. but you can't just keep letting that one take. And if you do it, what you do is you that company borrows from this one, and that company has to pay it back, and you treat it just like an entity. You know, if it can't pay you back, then you stop loaning it money. Okay. Okay, so make sure you guys, I don't see nobody on here though, but make sure you guys, when you watch, that you like, that you share, and that on tomorrow we're gonna have, let me finish my thought, Jesus. That you like, that you love. I want you to love it. I don't want you to like it. I want you to give me a comment that you got something out of it. What did you get out of it? Or if you didn't like it, tell me that. I like constructive criticism. And so, and share from Living Life with Autumn. And that's where the wheel will turn, and we will do our drawing for tomorrow. And then tomorrow, Kavaka McCoy is going to be with us on Testimony Tuesday, talking about how to keep it moving, how she, her testimony of how she went through, journey through breast cancer. She's 5 years clean, delivered or whatever, healed. 5 years healed, and then her journey right now as she's pressing through being displaced and being put out of a home after 15 years. We're going to talk a little bit about leases and things like that too, how you got to cover yourself and protect yourself when you're leasing properties, even as an individual and as a business. So, you know what my thing always is, that God will continue to bless you, bless you, bless you, and keep you real, real close. Yes. And you guys have a fabulous night on purpose. Yes, and have sweet dreams.
We living that best life. We living that best life.